And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Mondays with Miko, Miko for Mayor editions. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you are joining us on replay, go ahead and share it. Like and share, even if you're on replay. And if you're jumping in live, thank you so much for jumping in live. I have an amazing guest today. So excited. Mayor Robert L. Woodbury is here, y'all. He's in the green room. Okay, so tag and share, get it out to your friends. And, we want this. Thank you so much, Queen. I appreciate you, but we got work to do, right? um, so listen, Queen says, let me share it, let me show it. She says, hello, Madam Mayor. Well, when I hear that, what do I say, y'all? I say, work, sis. That's what I say, because we got work to do. Okay? We definitely got work to do. So right now, and for those of you that are my friends that are listening from all over, I thank you so much for listening and tuning in and hearing about our wonderful city of Mullins, South Carolina, and some of the current issues. So right now, what we have going on is Hurricane Debbie is heading our way. Hurricane Tropical Storm is heading our way. And with that, whether it's a hurricane or not, 10 to 20 inches of rain is very difficult in our communities with our infrastructure right now. So if you're a praying person, please pray for our city and our whole region. We love for this storm just to go straight offshore. It don't even touch us, right? But Mullins, we got to be prepared, because Mullins, Marion County, we need to be prepared, because it's best to be proactive, right? So, look around your surroundings. If you have stuff that's in your yard, those things become debris and they travel down the street when there's tons and tons of water. Okay. So if we could just do all of our normal prep, get your food, make sure all of your devices stay charged up. Okay. Mine is not plugged in right now, but we got to make sure everything stays charged up. If you have generators, make sure you get your gas for your generator. And always remember, never, ever, ever use a generator indoors. Okay, that is very, very dangerous. And a lot of times when storms happen, people may not get, pass away or get hurt in the storm itself, but it's the aftermath, right? It's mold damage in the lungs and through the air conditioning units, or running those generators inside or too close to the house. So let's just make sure that we're proactive. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it, because I want to make every use of this 30 minutes. And then after we talk to our wonderful mayor of Mullins, then I will have some more information that I will be sharing with you today. Okay. But without further ado, I'm going to bring onto the stage here my dear friend, Mayor Robert L. Woodbury. I'm so happy that you're on Mondays with Miko.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. So happy to be here. So happy to be here.
It's my pleasure. Matter of fact, I have a quote, Mayor, and I know you're a very busy man, but I'm going to share this quote because I hope this quote speaks to what we're going to be covering today and what I've been paraphrasing as I've been having conversations with community members all across our great city. And that is, leadership means planting the seeds of trees whose shade you will not be able to enjoy. And so that explains you, sir. Wow. Just off the top of my head, I'm gonna just tell y'all some things that I know about this man, that he has doubled the city revenue in just one term. He's cleared the way for abandoned houses to be torn down in our city. He's brought in our own city code enforcement, which we didn't have before. He created the zoning board, which I happen to be a member of. Then those amazing community unity events. Y'all, Mullins has fireworks displays. And every year, I remember the first year he wanted to do it, and it has got nothing but bigger and bigger and bigger every year. I want to think one of the best decisions that mayor and council has brought in was hiring Olga Rita Wright and all the things that she has done in conjunction with the leadership of our mayor, right? And we're going to go into a whole lot, and I wrote some stuff down because the more and more I was thinking about it, the police, the morale in the police department. We had a change in police chiefs, and that went extremely smooth. Didn't have to go that way. That's leadership, y'all. So, I, Miko, am so happy to have his support. And, what I've been saying to the community, Mayor, is that my goal is to continue your vision of Reimagine Mullins and just do a little bit more, put a little bit Miko to it. Because you've already laid down this great stuff, right? So I want to thank you for all of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're going to dive in, okay?
All
and
right.
if you guys have questions for our mayor, feel free to related questions. They don't have to be related. I'm sure he's going to take any kind of questions you guys have. Let's talk about the city revenue that you have increased, which helps, because we always hear about we don't have, we're a poor city, we don't have this, we don't have that. But under your leadership, we've seen a lot of new stuff come in the door. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of those things that we've been able to get in the city?
Yeah. Good question. First of all, it's important to understand that when it comes to revenue and how specifically how cities work, nothing happens without money, right? And there's only really a couple of ways to bring money to a city. You either have to increase taxes or you have to create streams of revenue. And so there have been a little bit of both over the last few years that we have implemented. And I will say that one of our greatest revenue sources has been our trash, our garbage department, street and sanitation, taking on that project. Now, I had to be honest, the project or starting that project took place with Mayor McMillan, right? As a council, we voted and we brought it to pass. But in these last few years, we have grown it. We have grown the staff. We have bought more equipment. We're up to 2 trucks. We have backup trucks now. If y'all remember a few years ago, when we had this issue, we had trash all around the city. We were having issues with our current contract. It was a mess.
I remember that. It was horrible. I
Hamburger.
almost forgot about that.
Yeah. And so council got together again, got to be honest, it was under the leadership of McMillan, and we were able to get that passed. And then we were continually growing and investing in it to make it happen. So that's one of the ways that we have this income stream that has increased. So it was a great move for our city. And so we're doing all we can to make sure it stays that way. We've had some small tax increases. A lot of people say oftentimes that nobody wants to pay more taxes, and we want to see more happen within our city. But we got to realize that again, we either create these revenue streams or we have to balance out. We hadn't had a tax increase in well over 30 years, and we forget the city of Mullins still has light bill, water bill, so on and so forth. There's still bills that have to be paid. So there are things that were put in place, not necessarily just to see great things built or new things built, but sometimes just to maintain at a certain level of excellence. But staying that course and being able to run those programs like that, making sure that our staff is able to work more efficiently, making sure that, again, you got to spend money in order to make money, making sure that we have the right people in place, making sure we have proper teams, that morale is high, meaning that that we're paying above the poverty level, above the poverty line. As a council, that has been a great mission of ours, and we've been able to accomplish that. And so all of that factored in with such a great team, we've been able to increase our revenue to nearly double it.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So I attend when I'm not at the city council meetings, I'm watching the city council meetings online. And it seems like, in terms of getting the abandoned houses, having the abandoned houses torn down is one of my campaign platform issues. I know I'm gonna be carrying that on from the work that you have started, and then we're almost there. It seems like every time I go to a meeting, that track hoe, is that what it's called? The
Yeah,
track hoe is in the shop. Is coming that next week.
yeah.
So can you talk to us about what you've done, how we've gotten to this point? If you can abridge it a little bit, in terms of being able to tear down the abandoned houses and the burned down houses that are in our city.
Gotcha. All right. Good question. Once again, first, let's make it known the track hole is up and running. It's operating. It's doing what it
Yay!
um,
Finally. So next meeting is going to be it's working.
yes, yes. So the bigger the equipment, when it tears up, the more it costs to fix. So this process, believe it or not, it didn't just start 4 years ago. It didn't start 8 years ago. This has been something that the city as a whole, as you know, our councilwoman Terry Davis, she has been a advocate of this, and so many others. We all have for so long. We're talking decades, and different policies have been put in place, different ways to approach it have been put in place. But here recently, we put a plan. We came together, all of council. We came together. We put a plan in place that allowed us to kind of hit it from a different angle. So when it comes to these dilapidated houses and abandoned houses and houses that have been burnt, the process, believe it or not, is so long and intensive because at the end of the day, it's property that belongs to other people. And in order for
Mm-hmm.
you to effectively be able to demo it, move it out of the way, take control of it, things of that nature, you have to have policy that's in place. You got to have policy that's in place. At the end of the day, we don't want to take people's property because when the city takes possession over it, now it becomes the city's responsibility to keep up. So we've tried to put programs in place that gives the property owners, and sometimes it's many owners, the ability to go through certain steps to get the house either fixed, remediation, repair, or to have some type of affordable means to get the houses torn down. And so our building official was very instrumental, and that was a key part in this project. And having someone who is experienced and knows the law was instrumental in putting programs together that make it affordable for the citizens to sign up for the city to tear down the houses, or to find other means to get these houses taken down. We all know that when dilapidation is removed, then property values go up. That city looks better.
Yes.
Overall morale, this things change. And we've been able to tear down quite a few houses. It is a slow process. We were hoping it was going to go a whole lot quicker, but there's just so many nuances. But one of the things that we have done that I'm proud of, and I say we again because it's a team effort. One of the things that we have done we were able to create a team, create a demolition team. At the end of the day, the state doesn't want the city in the business of tearing down houses, nor do we
Mm-hmm.
want to be in that business. But we want to make sure it's affordable and that it's an option for the residents. And so we were able to put a team together, a team of not only one side demolition, but another side for abatement, because that is really where the big cost comes in. People think it's
And
just
abatement is asbestos, right?
yeah,
So we,
asbestos
so we
abatement.
can't go in and tear down a building, a
You can't.
house that has asbestos, and all of our old houses have
Yeah,
asbestos.
yeah,
Because we tear it down, it's going to spread and get people sick.
that's right. So
So
if a house
so now you have a team that does. What does that team do to
So
help
if a
with
house
that?
was built 50 years ago, you already know it's going to have some type of asbestos. Most houses do. And so, like you said, it gets in the air and so on and so forth. And so we hired a team in-house that we sent to training who
Okay.
will be asbestos, well, half the team is asbestos trained, and they're able to actually do the abatements. So for instance, it may cost a few $100s or several $100s to get the testing done for a house, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we send off to a lab, we get the results back, and then another organization has to do the actual abatement process, which is getting rid of it. And so what our team was able to discover, what our building official was able to present to us is sometimes it's just there's a rug in the house or there's a part of the house that needs to be abated, and it's not the entire house, and that gets very expensive because you may have a house that's falling in or a house that's not worth much at all. may be worth $1,000. That's the land value maybe in its current state, but it may cost $15,000 to get it abated. And so the cheaper route is to send a crew to be certified in this, and we do this in-house. And so with as much budget as we have and manpower we have, we're able to tear these things down. And so part of that project that makes that work successfully in sync is the track hole that we're talking about. That's been
I guess I should have Googled it. I would have known what it looks like. But
yeah,
it just kept coming up in every meeting. But
yeah.
and that's an amazing thing. And because, like you said, decades, I didn't realize it was decades. I know Terry Davis has been putting in the work. But because of that, what I plan to do is to come in and really use my business acumen, my project management skills, and execute a plan so we can see those things come to fruition where people will notice it, because it needs to be noticeable, right?
Yeah,
But we can't forget the folks that got us to that table.
absolutely. And it is a process. Because these things have to go through court, because there's permits in place. DHEC, one almost the gatekeepers of this type of project. It's been extensive, but we've gotten to a place to where finally things are moving at a quicker pace. So you can look around the city, and there are many of these houses that are torn down, but because our internal processes and our machinery, the track hoe, is back up and running, we'll see it a whole lot quicker.
The house that was on Gapway, is that one that you tore down, or I should actually?
Way.
It's on Gapway. Like if you come up from Jackie Choi, it used to be on the left hand side over there. A tree had fell in it.
Yes. So yes, the city was instrumental in getting that done. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a big difference.
Owner, yes.
Awesome. And you know what? And thank you, owners, right? Because a lot of people that actually support my candidacy, they used to live in Mullins. They don't live in Mullins anymore, right? And so when I say stronger together, y'all, it's not just those folks that live here. It's those folks that have a vested interest in the future success of our city, right? So if you have a house and it's abandoned and bad shape, help us get that thing torn down. So I want to move on to, when you came into office, you talked about unity, that you wanted to unify the city. How do you feel as though you were able to do that? And what were some of those things that you did around unity?
Yeah. I think we're successful. One of the things about unity is, how do you measure it? How is it? How are you able to determine how successful you're in unifying? I would like to think that at the end of the day, the events that we had when we brought the city together, seeing people from all social economic standpoints and different parts of the city, us being able to get together, fellowship together, being able to eat together, be able to enjoy music and all this type of stuff coming together, and seeing a lot of the issues that we were fighting about, we as the city as a whole, a lot of things that we disagreed on were not points of contention that persisted. In other words, conversations change. In other words, things got a whole lot easier to manage and to navigate. So I think, like, for instance, you mentioned it before, our Reimagine Mullins fireworks show. We do it every 4th of July, and we do it the first of the year in January. Those have been great successes. We've seen 500 and 600 and 700 people come and gather and eat or be at the food trucks and eating and having a good time and smiling, seeing people smiling and pulling out lawn chairs. That really makes a difference when our nation is divided on so many issues. To be able to see us, we can't afford to be divided on these issues. Yeah, we may have our different political beliefs, but at the end of the day, we gotta be together.
Absolutely, because you know what? I always say we're 129574. What happens on one end of town impacts us on the other end of town, right? And at the end of the day, when we write our address, it's 29574. So I love it. I love what you've done, and I think you've made a traumatic change in terms of how I see it through the foundation. When people come up and we talk, and the volunteers we've had, I see it. So it's not just those one events. I see it by the people that come up and say, "Can I help?"
Yeah.
Can I help? Can I help? Can I help a community member? Can I help? Can I help you distribute this food? Can we help you at Juneteenth Mullins? It's amazing.
Yeah, and if I can add this, I think, and you made a great point. At the end of the day, it's about being able to have conversation and being able to have a platform for conversation, whatever that platform may look like, for communication. And unity happens when we can communicate. And so, you know, of course, we can always do a greater job, always do more, but I think a lot more conversation, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, what it's just more conversation is being had over the last few years, and it helps to bring unity. Because at the end of the day, we want to get on one accord. I believe we all do. Nobody wants to live in division and be divisive, and so we've seen great strides when it comes to unifying our city.
Yes, yes, and I want to continue that forward, right? Because, when it comes to Mullins, there's no party.
Mhm.
We
That's right.
This is where we live, right? This is literally our back and our front yards. So I want to go to what I think is your baby. You have a lot of things that you brought to the table. But I'm gonna get it right because I call it something different. The old brick square, which is across the street from the Mullins Library. Um, you've been I think you was a council person the first time you talked about a splash pad.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been
And
talking about Splash for a long time. Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. So I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up. Let me see. I'm gonna show you guys the rendering. And then can you talk about I'm gonna go through some of these slides. Guys, I hope you guys can see this. So if you go to the library, I think this is the one we'll start with. If you The library in Mullins, right across the street from that, you see that little workout, the little blue workout area. And that's the first of this beautiful city vision that's going to be implemented, right? It won't be done by November. So but it's definitely, I like to say that it's your baby.
Yeah,
Can you talk to the people about this?
yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. So again, this is the old brick square. It's what we call the old brick square, uh, multi-purpose or multi-use park and marketplace. And so many years ago, again, this was an idea that was pitched from council. Even prior to that, there was a variation, an idea, a version of it that came from our former mayor as well. And we always wanted to know what would work best here. What could we build to make money? Because ultimately, parks don't usually make money. And so, to make a very long story short, uh, we were able to adapt and come to an idea to where not only could it be great for the community, we did surveys, we found out what the people wanted it, and it was a park. So,
Hmm.
so like you mentioned before, one of the things we did was hire a special projects coordinator, Miss White, and she has been instrumental in helping to take this vision, along with Director Gilcrease and our building official and our city administrator, our entire council. Again, I love to brag on teams because it's not just one of us. So we come together and came up with this great concept that would include space for food trucks, that would include this workout area. If you can go
So
back to
here's
the
the workout area, and then there's is there going to be a playground as well for kids?
There will be. So this is broken up into phases. And what you see here right now, we actually see that already installed. It's that apparatus there for workout. Believe it or not, we're the third one in the state with it. It's really a big deal. We had a grant to make
Wow.
it. Yeah. And so what's going to be installed next are the bathrooms and the splash pad. And so
Flashback.
literally within the next few weeks, or the next several weeks, we'll see construction start there.
Hmm.
Um, Also, the shell there, the stage area, we'll be seeing
Yes.
that soon. Yeah, and then on the outside, one of the last things we'll see are those sheltered areas where there'll be rental spaces, and different uh, places to do different things like the farmers market and the craft spaces. And so it's really going to be a beautiful park. And again, with it being in the first phase and us being able just to plant those expensive and very detailed things there, everything else, as you look at this, it will happen a lot quicker, much quicker than you think, because now we have grass, trees, those things have to be planted, the walking trails, the tracks. Um, But the big expensive things, the plumbing, the sewage tie-in, the electrical, those things are what we're focusing on now. So phase two will go through in the blink. So I'm excited about that. Again, you're right. It has been a dream of mine to see that, and many in the community have been talking about a splash pad. We need a splash pad. Now
Mhm.
this isn't the biggest, the best, nor the greatest splash pad, but I believe it's going to be better than what we have, which is nothing, not a splash pad. So I think
Well,
the kids.
just create a vision. Like just hearing you talk, there's a stage, right? So there's your stage over there.
Yeah,
So you got stage, you got a workout area, you got sitting areas, you got some place for the kids, you got some place for crafters that is covered, and some place for clean bathrooms,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I can just imagine bands performing, kids playing. This is a big deal. As
yeah.
I've been talking to people in the community, parents pull me to the side and say, "Can we please get something for our kids to do?" This is coming.
Yeah.
This is coming. How about funding for it? Where do we stand on that?
Yeah, yeah. So funding is looking good. So it's a combination between public and private funds, and so our one of our biggest contributors is through our delegation. So hats off to Senator Williams, Representative Atkinson, and so they've worked hard to make sure that we had funding for it. And there are a lot of other revenue streams that are both state as well as countywide. The Healthcare Foundation has been a big part in making sure we have different aspects of this that are happening, and so many other names I don't want to forget to call, so I won't attempt to call. But this truly is a big deal for our county, for our city, specifically for our county, and I would like to think for the surrounding areas as well. So funding, as you can imagine, is one of the hardest things you can come up with. But once it's there, you see it happen quickly. So now it's a matter of timing, taking the funding that we have, getting our DHEC approvals, which we're cleared for, getting all the grading and everything in place. And so we've been working with a great group of people that are making this happen. So yeah, we're almost there. Just hold on, we're almost.
Awesome. 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 So Virginia Allaby, she says, and I think you answered that question, but the question was, how soon will the second phase start?
Yeah. So the second phase we'll see at the towards the beginning of the year. However, some of the things that I've mentioned that we're looking forward to are still in the first phase. So the first phase isn't over yet. And so again, we'll see our splash pad soon. The goal was to be able to have it before the summer ended. And so that may still be possible. It's already been ordered. Again, it's a matter of permitting. So it's been out of our hands for a little while now. And so the bathrooms, the splash pad, and we should start seeing the tracks, even the parking spaces installed, the trees installed. All that funding is in place. It's just next pieces of the puzzle. We had to have some things in first. We can't install certain things and then go back and tear up the ground and then go back. And so it's just a matter of things having to be put down at first. So second phase, to answer your question, the top of next year. However, there'll be more to see in this phase that we're in now that you should be looking forward to, which is the splash pad.
Yes, yes. Out there, are y'all excited? Are y'all excited on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram? I know I am. I'm very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. There's again, I got to go back. I got to bring that quote back up. There it is. Leadership means planting the seeds of trees whose shade you will not be able to enjoy. And I thank you so much for also shouting out the prior mayors and the prior councils that have been working on this, because this is the train that's on the tracks. And one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about was the walkability plan that Clemson came in and helped us out with. In terms of really changing the look and feel and making the city more walkable, more bikeable. I'm going to cover that in future weeks
Okay.
of Mondays with Miko. I think it ties in really well. I have coming up the animal advocates, and
Gotcha.
so it could tie well really there. So, Mayor, thank you so much. Is there any final things you want to say to your staff or the community?
Yeah, definitely to the staff. I mean, like I said, they're hardworking and they've really been taking the vision and going forth with it. Same thing with council, great group of people, and ultimately to all the residents. One of the greatest things, one of the greatest privileges of my life has been being the mayor here. So we have another few months, and we're grinding to get these things finished. I've always said that was never my goal to be a career politician, but there was a gap, there was a need, and so I perceived God to be leading me to fill that gap. And so it's been a privilege these last few years. It's going to be 4 years as mayor, 8 years total in city government. So I'm excited about ending this term strong. I'm excited about making sure that the city of Mullins has what it needs, what she needs to go forward and under great leadership. And I'm excited about Miko Pickett for mayor. As you know, she's one that knows the vision, and she's one that I believe will work with everyone to ensure that the work that we started is able to be finished and go to the next level. And so I want you to vote. I want you to make sure that you do what needs to be done to ensure that the vision of our city, Reimagine Mullins, goes forward.
Oh, well, thank you so much for those. And by the way, our first lady has been watching.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, she's been
And all
watching.
the girls.
I'll put her up, and Jacob.
Jacob.
I'm
Yeah.
sure Jacob's someplace if he's not asleep right now.
He's asleep. That's why I just mentioned the girls. He's asleep. But
Well,
shout out to the tribe, the
thank
Woodbury.
you so much, and you definitely are finishing strong, sir. So, and just thank you for the leadership and the guidance, and we're going to make sure that your baby crosses that finish line.
Outstanding.
All right, talk to you soon.
We'll see.
So, y'all, I'm excited, and every time I talk to him and hear the excitement in his voice for everything that he's done, and y'all, you probably see more of our mayor next year than ever before, because I know these things are near and dear to him, very very near and dear to him. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I appreciate you. I appreciate his support. I appreciate his endorsement more than ever, than you guys can ever know. And I am running for mayor because, like Robert Woodbury, I love this city, and this city has shown me love. So, now I'm like, okay, God has given me a gift that I've used in corporate America for 30 years, 20 years as an executive. So, what better way to pay my gift forward than to help our city move forward? Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm ready to make history, because you know what? I will be making history. Robert Woodbury was our first African American mayor, and he ran on unity. 150 years it took to get our first African American mayor, and he ran on unity. I will be the first African American female mayor, and I am running on Stronger Together. My platform is open to all. I'm willing to hear everybody. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, a couple more things. Um, then I want to wrap up. I've been talking to folks about the EV charging station ideas. The businesses are loving it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I think that's going to be great, because we want to bring people to our city. We're getting our city all spiffed up and beautiful. We all agree, we've been talking about this every week, that we need to support our local businesses on Main Street and off Main Street, right? Last week, I brought in Cynthia Ford, and she talked about the Young Entrepreneur Commission that we're going to start. So we're going to be doing these things. And when we do these things, we need to bring the people. We need to bring the people to our city. And what better way than to have their cars force them here? So check this out, y'all. Two of my sons have electronic vehicles. My oldest son, he in Chicago, he has a complete electronic vehicle. So he puts no gas in his car at all. And then my second oldest son, he just bought a car, and it's a hybrid. So I've been asking him tons and tons of questions, right? But how cool would it have been if, he could, because he had to because to come from Charlotte to here, I think he told me he did put gas in it, but he can go like 140 miles on his hybrid with no gas. So all week they're not putting any gas in the car. So that's really cool. But how about this? Let's bring these folks to our city. So let's keep up the conversation. When you guys see me on the streets, I thank you so much for telling me your ideas and your thoughts about that. Business owners, thank you so much for talking to me on housing. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be bringing some people to the table to talk about housing. But remember, I'm not going to, the things I'm going to tell you about, a lot of times, I'm just going to be connecting folks that bring stuff to the table because everything doesn't have to be done by the city, right? So we have a housing program that April Smith and some others at the foundation are going to be working with other nonprofits to bring lenders to our city. So when we bring these lenders to our city, so we're gonna bring it to you, right? You know, the mayor talked about tearing down abandoned houses, and we want to build our city because we want you to stay. I talked to a lot of people that are on the fence. No, you stay. The city is coming up. All right. Trying to see what else I want to talk to you guys about. Don't forget to register to vote. I filed last week. Yay. You guys have till October to register. And if you change your address and you now live in the city, you need to register to vote to change your address. Okay. If you need forms, I have forms. Want to also put up for you my phone number. So I no longer have an office, a campaign office on Main Street. But if you want me, and I hope you do, people have been calling me, people have been hitting me up. You can call to schedule an appointment. It's right here, 843-350-2570. And you can schedule an appointment or if you just want to talk. I've been having some amazing conversations with community members. I want to hear you. I want to hear you. And like the mayor said, I have one vote when I'm mayor. So the partnerships working with, but I want to be your vote. I want to be the people's vote, right? So in order for that to happen, I need to know kind of what's on your mind. And then I'm going to be asking y'all to do stuff too. And people are seeing that. Coming up next week, y'all, next week, I have Kendra Fling, and she's going to be talking about absentee ballots, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm not going to go too much into what she's going to be talking about, but you don't want to miss Kendra Fling, what she has to say on Mondays with Miko next week. And then after that, I have the Marion County animal advocates, and you can see what they're doing right now. So think about all the pets, all the strays. They told me to stop calling them pets, but all the strays that are in our animal shelter right now. With this storm coming in, you know, they're outside. So these women that I met, I call them heroes because they literally save these strays. And I'm gonna let them tell you about what they've done and how much work they do in Mullins on a daily basis. But it's really, 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 really awesome. Okay. So also this week, y'all, I'm going to be, so running for office isn't easy. I told y'all that. I tell you over and over again. It's not easy. We have to get me in my house. Yes, sis, we got to get you in your house. Absolutely. So this is for Cynthia. Stay tuned. There's more to come. Stay tuned. So I got to run and I have to buy things. I have to buy yard signs. I have to buy palm cards. So one of the things that we're doing, we're going to be releasing our merchandise store this week, right? So I have my 29574 earrings. So you could donate money to my campaign and then you can get something back too, right? That's pretty cool. So for your donation, the 29574 earrings, some delicious, delicious lip gloss. My friend Shanae Birch, she made it. It's called Miko's Paradise. That's going to be on my merch website as well as the t-shirts are in Miko for Mayor Stronger Together. So all that's going to come out this week. Thank you all so much that have been sharing my posts. I'm on TikTok now. Thank you for sharing my TikTok. And let's do this, right? Work, sis. I'll see y'all next week.